Hi, I am Ho Xuan Feng, and I will play Beethoven Sonata number 8, first movement.
Another tricky one here. I guess we can play it there. The beginning, it's very difficult to really have all of those 6 or 12 notes over the bar really clear and together. I would avoid thinking of it too much, because then we lose the last 2 or 3. Just for clarity, really think each one of those 12 notes have teeth, even in piano. That also helps it to be really together, which is not easy as well. Can we just try the beginning? Just play it once by yourself. To me, it's not completely even. It sounds so you can't have too much time on the first note. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, good. And then relax for the arpeggio. To me, it's a little hectic at the end. There's no hurry here. And I mean, my personal experience is that it's not good to take this movement too fast. Of course, allegro aside, but there's so many little details, so many last-minute crescendos and subitos and accents here and there that if we take it a little too fast, it's really hard to deliver all of that. So I would not that you'd have to play slower, but just so you have the room and also physically the sense you have time to do what you need to do musically. If it gets a little hectic, then all of the details he writes become almost impossible to execute exactly. Good. And here, in the forte, make sure the eighth notes here stay forte. I hear. Can it stay? And this can be, I think it's a confirmation. Yes, we're in G major. We're in forte, we're in G major. So a little more heroic there, just on that one note. That's the difficult thing. We have to accomplish these characters and on just sometimes a single note to get it. And then it's already gone before we have a chance to say much else. So once again from the beginning. For me, I mean, it's a little slower, but you have a lot more control, also rhythmically, and it's much more together now. Something to think about. Okay, so there's a little bit of a danger here that things get a little too much from the first beat of the bar. If you listen. Here. Because we always have a long note at the beginning of the bar. So I would look for a way to sometimes not stop after it, sometimes go. For example, I think, that sometimes we can go through it there. Same thing here. Think the melody is not long note and then fast notes, but it goes all the way through there. So that means more attention to the small moving notes and a little less resting on the long ones. Let's go back, from yeah. Good. But that's almost too late. Da, 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 da. You think we have a little more time for those two last notes? And that it takes up a little more space in terms of the bar, and then they don't get squished to the end. Because what tends to happen, most people play rather ya ba 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 da da da, that we can sing through them, despite that they're shorter notes. Yeah, good, good, very good before. Here, you know, these markings are really, it's almost impossible to really do what he asked for. Next page. Yeah, here. The crescendo before that, I don't hear it. You have very little time to do that. So it has to be, you have to use everything in your disposal. Bow, and also vibrato. If we just do, it's already gone. We didn't have the crescendo. So, and then we have room for something to happen. But the bow division and the vibrato have to be perfect so that that actually happens before we go on. Maybe da 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 da. Yeah. Sforzando on the C sharp, right? Da, 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 da. That's really weird. And if we don't bring it out and exaggerate it, nobody notices because we it's not enough. Then, okay, he's really trying to say something. Otherwise, the natural tendency will be to show the downbeat, also with the down bow. So here, play out a little more of this arpeggio, otherwise it's lost. Try really exaggerating these sforzandos just for now, much more than you think is appropriate. Maybe from the D minor. Good, very good. Small detail, but actually not so small. Because of the bow division, you use so much bow on the up bow, it gets a big accent. So you have to do something about it. Either a retake or be careful that it doesn't get that accent just because you use a lot of bow on it. Same place? Good. Yeah, here, listen to how well she's getting those 16th notes to speak. What happens with us because of the bow, we lose the teeth on the little notes there. So don't use all the bow. We still have to have quality for the little notes. Yeah. Yeah, to me this is funnier than you make it. You just play your line there. So that's the classical way is to relax on the resolution. But you come in and step on that resolution. So, yeah. With you because you kept insisting, I really want this to be an accent where the resolution is. Ba, da, da, ba. And then finally, it's so convincing that she has to go with you. Let's try that. Again. And then finally. would say with the trills is make the trill, if you were going to play it without a trill, you wouldn't play, but because of the trill we come away a little bit too much. If we have this interplay, we need to keep the sound to the end. So, don't release too much on those. Then we have back and forth. Yeah. Same thing here, actually. If we do all the way to the end of those, the 3/8 notes. Yeah. Could we try from just the coda there? That's measure 85. Bum, bum, bum. Even here in pianissimo, all 6 notes. Sorry. It's a diddle dum. Now maybe a little earlier crescendo. Sorry. Immediately when you start this last one, you already see the G major. Before you play, and it's almost a little too surprising. It's not even so much the crescendo, but just the feeling that we're going to finally get there. We'll try that once again for now. I don't hear the subito. It's very difficult to do in tempo, but I think it's worth a try. Also, just sound-wise, if we're too small, even in pianissimo, it's not going to catch. No, so each one has enough bite that it projects. If we play too, it's a real difference than if you're sitting in the violin section and we're all playing that together in a Beethoven symphony. Of course, we all play as quiet as possible. But here, with the piano and the sonata, we need to project also emotionally, even in the pianissimo. So sometimes that means same volume, but a little more bow, a little more presence in the sound than we would do in another setting. Good. Oh yes, now I remember what I wanted to say. To me, it would be great if that could be right in tempo. So. Because then if I take time, it becomes a real luck game, whether it's going to be together. Yum-pum. So. Sure. And here, dare to go to the end. So it's almost more effective if we dare to play it in tempo. And then, of course, it's our job to make it technically work, that we actually do what's there. So we do from the return? Yeah. Yeah, the end is very difficult. I'm not sure exactly what your plan is, honestly.
Like until here. And
Yeah, but how are you going to make the crescendo? Simply more into the string, or, I mean, I think maybe it helps to have a little more bow and a little more length on those notes, even though they have dots. Otherwise, it becomes difficult. And then the question is whether to try to play that right in tempo or to take lots of time. You can do that, or there are two options, but it needs to be very committed to which one you're going to do. Yeah, let's do before that. So, yeah. Yeah, that's better. I mean, you want it, again, it's one of these things like the end of the movement from the Sixth Sonata that somehow we have to get people to smile at the end of it. And so how is that going to happen, you know? Would be the way to end it, actually. But no, he's not going to make it that easy. So maybe leave it up here rather than letting it fall. Yeah, it's a tricky end. And then that's also the thing with timing. I mean, you have to come to your own viewpoint of this, of whether these extreme dynamics and changes, whether you want to do those in tempo or whether you need to take time for them. People have different ways of showing it, but it needs to be, you know, a creative decision, artistic decision from you that I want it to be right in tempo and I show all those extremities, or I need the time to show this particular harmony, this subito here. It doesn't always have to be one way or the other. You don't have to be consistent that you're always going to play everything in tempo or you're always going to take time. But it needs to be a very conscious decision, also because it's a duo, because you're playing it together, of how you're going to do that. And I find, for me at least, it's a good starting point to really try to play it right in tempo. And then, you know, then in reality, there are places where you need to take the time. But that we try to start from that point, that we can really play the whole movement actually with a metronome, with exactly what he's marking dynamically. And then, of course, then it needs time to breathe, and some things do need space. But I think the little bit more controlled tempo helps a lot to bring out everything, so that it's not in any way hectic. Very good, thank you.
Thank you.